Hi everyone, Jody with the Ring Lord here. Today we're going to do a short video on how to make shaggy scales. So if you don't know what shaggy scales are, it's this. So they look like. So this is a shaggy scales necklace made out of large scales in pewter, mirror gold, and clear brushed. And those use, again, our large scales, and the rings are black matte, anodized aluminum, 16 gauge, that's 1.6 millimeter wire, 5/16 of an inch inner diameter. I've also made some shaggy scale earrings, and these are our blue and mirror silver with a limited edition. This was the very dark blue or dark blue. These are 18 gauge anodized aluminum, that's 1.2 millimeter wire, 3/16 of an inch inner diameter, and these are our no color niobium ear wires. And earrings, you can make them as long or as short as you want. You could literally just put 2 layers on here if you wanted to. And the other thing I made was a tiny scale bracelet, and just for scale, haha, no pun intended. These are the tiny, and those are the small, so the tiny are very tiny. These require 20 gauge AWG, that's 0.8 millimeter wire, 7/64 of an inch, and I used our shiny gold, and I used one of our gold clasps, the plated gold. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to make this using large pink aluminum scale or anodized aluminum scales and large orange anodized aluminum scales. So for the top layer, let me tell you one thing about scales. Scales have 2 sides. The side that is kind of cupped like a U, that's the underside or bottom of the scale. The top is curved. It's got a ridge down the middle of it. That's the top. So I'm going to start out with my pink scales. I'm going to put my undersides together and put an open ring through. All the rings in this project are open. So close that ring once you've put that ring through both scales. So if you lay it down on the table, you'll have one that's face up and one where you can see the underside. I always like to put a little handle on the top of the piece. It only goes through the ring, not the scales. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open a ring. Now you can do color patterns in this however you want. The large one is pewter, pewter brushed gold. So that one's got 3 different colors in it. You could do a confetti pattern where you just do random colors. The earrings are blue, then silver, then blue, then silver, then blue, then silver. There's a ton of ways you can do colors. All right, so we're going to get 2 of the orange or whatever color next you're using. I'm going to put them together again so that the insides or the undersides are faced together. We're going to put a ring through those scales. With the pink ones that you've already got the rings through, you're just going to flip them open because you want to be working on the wrong side and you want the ring that attaches them to kind of stick up. So you're going to take the 2 scales that are on your open ring, put that ring through the ring that goes through the original 2 scales and close. So when you flip those top scales back down, you will have 2 scales facing one direction, so those are the pink scales. And then your next 2 scales will be the opposite direction, so they'll be flat. It's hard to see with just these 2 layers, but it will happen. All right, so one thing that I have done in the past that makes it somewhat easier is to go ahead and get a few scales with rings added to them already. So basically you just take 2 scales, put the insides together, put a ring through it, and set it to the side. That way when you're working, you don't have to put the piece down. You can just pick your scale pack up, or whatever you want to call it. So here's 2 scales of my next color. And notice again, I'm not closing the ring. 2 scales of my next color. And I'll do one more of the orange. And remember, they go insides together. You want the outsides facing out. Okay, so you should have a piece that looks like this. You've got your top layer, your next layer. So you're going to flip the bottom layer, so that's orange for me, so that the ring connecting the scales is up. I'm going to grab my next color layer, which is pink, and I'm going to put the open ring through the ring that connects the orange scales together, and I'm going to close. I'm going to flip open those scales, pick that ring up, and I'm going to get my next color, which is orange, and that just goes through that ring. Close the ring. Open the scales. Pick up my next pack, which is pink, put it through the ring, close the ring, open the scales, pick up my next pack, which is orange, put it through the ring, close the ring. You can do this as many times as is needed to get the length that you want. And I think they look pretty cool with the insides out, but here's how it looks. You just flip it over. When you get a lot of scales on there, it gets that pattern, the in-out pattern. Sometimes it doesn't want to do that, and that's fine. It still looks really cool. That's basically it for making shaggy scales. You just keep going until you have the length that you want. And what I do, and you can see it here on the necklace. So on that little handle that I mentioned, I put the clasp. And then on the end, on the other side, so this is where my piece has ended. So this is the last ring. I just add a few rings. That way, whoever is wearing it has, you know, the ability to have a little room if it's too tight. If they want to make it, you know, looser, they have all these rings that they can use. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about an order or a product, please contact customer service at orders@TheRingLord.com. If you have a project question, please email projecthelp@TheRingLord.com. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you have a great day.